Well, almost here. Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1573, June 27th, 2025. 104 degrees on this day in 1934, and 44 degrees was the low on this day in 1925. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
As we speak, the funeral for Melissa and Mark Hartman is underway. Hortman. Why do I keep saying Hartman? Of course it's Hortman.
Both senators came through the airport today, Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar, to attend.
Tens of thousands of people are expected to pay their respects today inside the Capitol Rotunda. And the story continues to change about exactly what Belter did, and I remain completely puzzled by the behavior of his wife. That's all I'll say. Completely puzzled by it. I understand that she's cooperating. I understand that. All I know is if you texted your wife and said, "I'm going to war, I might not be back for a while, be careful, some people might show up at the house with guns," and your wife loads up the car with some money and some guns and takes off, doesn't that suggest that she has an inkling of what that means? We don't know. So I'll just remain puzzled.
He said it in the first part. He said in past tense, Daddy went to war last night. And I wish we had the rest of the text here so we could really, really discuss this. The reason I'm so wary about saying that none of this is hard facts yet. The story keeps changing. It changes every week. We learned brand new stuff this morning in the Star Tribune.
Yeah, this one needs more than 72 hours.
Yeah.
It needs a month.
Yeah. And I don't know if, should we be upset about that? Should we blame people for that, or should we just?
I'm just focused on how puzzled I am. It's not plausible to me that that's how a married couple would operate.
But every married couple is different. My mind vastly different from all of yours, and around the table we could go. Yeah,
but I think when it comes to committing murder, the married couple might have an inkling about the behavior of one or the other.
Or what
the hell does it mean?
His passion might be. What is his passion? Does she know that that's his passion?
Daddy went to war. Bleep you, Daddy.
That's what that's my wife's reaction. Yeah. The roommate wouldn't leave the house. She'd be sitting on the front steps waiting for somebody to show up so she could throw me under the bus.
Right. What did he do now?
Yeah. Right.
Look at the actual text. I have the whole thing here.
Oh, good.
A group thread with the children and the wife. Dad went to war last night. I don't want to say more because I don't want to implicate anybody. Then a separate message to his wife. Words are not going to explain how sorry I am for the situation. There's going to be some people coming to the house armed and trigger happy, and I don't want you guys around. She said the wife told officials her husband had previously given her a bailout plan in case of any notification of any emergency. The texts themselves suggested a warning to the family to leave the house, according to officials.
That's I didn't know about the bailout plan.
Okay,
So-
I'm not changing my opinion.
Well, now I don't
Is the
think you
woman?
have
Does
to.
the woman need to be in a home somewhere because she's so dense?
No, no,
Well, the first
no, definitely not.
first question out of my wife's mouth would be, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, well,
What is it?
but if you read the dynamic of that family that we know so far, again, Kenny's right. We don't really know anything. But they were very religious to the point of being fundamentalist. pretty
Well, then
much.
they're nuts.
Well, that's beside the point. You can't use that to prove your point.
I don't even know what my point is.
Neither do we.
Neither do we. I'm just hesitant at throwing her under the bus.
I'm
at
not.
This early point.
I'm not at all. Not at all hesitant.
All right.
Not for committing the crime, obviously, but for God's sakes. Well, the whole
Okay.
thing was undone by the past tense. It would have been too late for her to call anybody.
That's where I was going, because not that I'm trying to make light of any situation, but how much do each of us know about our spouse and vice versa?
well,
It's not
unfortunately-
100%.
I'm probably at 99.9.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, she's listening, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
100. I'm sorry, 100, Mick.
But you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I'm not buying that. You wouldn't know if your spouse is going to go shoot up somebody. Give me a break. What are you crazy?
No.
You're nuts.
You're,
We are
we
nuts.
are nuts.
I think you are nuts, Joe. I don't.
No, I think you are.
You know, I don't mind fighting with you, but I don't want to fight about this topic. Let's fight
about something
more.
else.
yeah, there's stuff
Something
I
far
disagree
more
with you a
personal.
lot more.
I got a whole list.
Yeah, come on.
Well, how about this then?
Wait, before we move on, what did you think about the piece on her today in the Star Tribune? Are you buying all of that?
No,
None of it, huh?
I'm buying some of it.
Okay.
Back to Melissa and Mark Hortman.
Yeah.
I think Melissa wouldn't mind me mentioning it all because it's not necessarily unrelated. But since we lost her, we also lost the Dean of State Capitol Reporting, Bill Salisbury,
Yeah.
for the Pioneer Press.
Yeah.
Just a real solid guy up at the Capitol. I'm sure he knew Hortman very well. And he was old style, meaning he wasn't following any agenda. He was a true reporter. And he'd been in some bad health, and he passed. So
When did he file his last story, Joe? When did he retire?
probably in the year 2024.
Oh,
I don't have his obit in front of me.
very recently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, and also I have some good news that there's a 23-year-old in custody. No, I'm sorry, I had the wrong story. There's a 23-year-old in custody for that Boom Island Park mass shooting a couple of weeks ago. I was assuming that was the Falwell Park. We don't have a suspect arrested yet in the Falwell Park shooting that killed the 11-year-old kid. Hey, another thing I wanted to say. Enjoy the 4th of July while you still can. Huh? While we still have one. All right?
Why?
Because one way or the other, it's going away. I don't know which side will be responsible for it, but one way or the other,
She gone.
she gone.
In what sense?
Well,
Because
if the
it's
Muslims
never-
take over, we ain't celebrating the 4th of July.
Are you telling me that out on the lake, every lake in Minnesota and Wisconsin, where we shoot off thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of fireworks, they're going to try to shut us down after we've been drinking all day?
You know, there are 200,000 Muslims in New York. I'm quoting directly from Zohran Mamdani, who just won the Democrat nod for mayor's race. And I was listening to videos of him this morning, and I was careful. They're real ones. And he said, there's 200,000 Muslims registered to vote in New York City. There's really no reason why they shouldn't also be in City Hall, meaning filling positions in the political class, which is fine. Everybody has a right to run and hold office, but he envisions a country that we don't live in at the moment. He envisions a different situation. He follows, in fact, goes beyond the tenets of the Democratic Socialists of America platform. Well, Democratic Socialists of America, for example, are very lenient on crime. And I think he has something to say about that.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
What if the package was stolen at gunpoint? I'd call that a violent crime.
Right.
What if the burglary was committed at gunpoint? I'd call that a violent crime. And here is a fellow so steeped in the mystery, which is amazing. He hasn't even been here that long, but he's got it all down.
Yep.
Here's a fellow who believes that even the word violence is a construct. What have I been telling you about the mystery? The mystery is holding the belief that everything that we've honored and cherished and obeyed in our lives is merely an affectation. It's a construction of a flawed founding, right up to and including violence. Violence is merely made up by people. It's just made up. It doesn't exist. It's a construct. This guy is... if he gets elected, I can't imagine what's going to happen to New York City. I just can't imagine.
You're imagining a world where everybody's going to bow down and not resist him. And I mean, if he's going to say violence no longer exists and then true violence is going to break out, he's going to be the first one that goes down. I mean, it's a dirt sandwich for this guy.
Well, but I hate to see the world break up into this civil war.
Nobody wants that.
But this is ridiculous.
That's what's going to happen, though.
John, he said 200,000 registered Muslim. He used the word Muslim. Mm-hmm. Muslim voters in New York.
Okay.
And that got me thinking of what percentage of the population in Minneapolis is Muslim. And you discovered that it's about 1.4% of the state. 1.4 to 2% of the state.
Of the state, yeah.
Of Minnesota.
I found some Minneapolis numbers too, but you asked how many were Somali. You didn't say Muslim. So I looked up Somali.
Virtually all Somalis are Muslim unless I'm really mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're correct. But there's more Muslims than Somali people,
okay,
obviously.
Well, it seems to me, what did you find for Minneapolis?
Minneapolis, the number of Muslims is somewhere between, and this is just me doing quick math, between 11 and 13% of the population is Somali, Minneapolis.
Is it safe to say, or am I on the wrong track when I say for that low of a percentage, they're holding a disproportionate amount of political seats in the legislature, the city council in Minneapolis? Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, I think so. Very disproportionate.
I forgot where I was taking that. Oh, I know where I was taking it. 62% of the registered voters in Minneapolis are white. 62% are white. It's hard for me to believe that 62% of the white voters are thoroughly progressive.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree, yeah.
In fact, I don't know what percentage of white voters would be thoroughly progressive, but it seems to me that it's curious that the city council of Minneapolis, for example, is exclusively Mysterian, with maybe the exception of one person. They're exclusively Mysterian.
Yeah.
Now, I find it hard to believe that 62% of the white voters would find that agreeable. So, of the 62% of white voters, are not enough of them voting?
I think, that's a good assumption. I'd go with that.
Because the pattern that we've experienced in the last 5 to 10 years would suggest that Omar Fateh will win the mayor's race. Even though he's married to the corruption of the food fraud and
Directly linked. Yep.
now I don't know what fate awaits Zohran Mamdani in New York. I don't know if people will come to their senses and realize we really don't want to be governed in this fashion. I don't know if they'll wake up. I don't know if New York's got a large Jewish population. You would think they would be entirely alarmed by this Muslim communist.
A lot of Italians. Yeah, just the Italians and Jews alone.
Right.
Be fun to know I bet that number's available.
Enjoy the 4th of July while you still can. Huh?
Well, I mean, people are going to perceive this conversation as, oh, you're just 5 evil white guys that are right-wingers. But
because nobody thinks anymore.
But that's
nobody
it.
thinks what's happening to
That's
them.
an
Nobody
easy-
knows what's happening to them.
That's an easy reaction to the statement that was just made. Correct.
They don't have the AI overview, doesn't list Jews and Italians. It says 30.9 white, 28.7 Hispanic or Latino, 20.2 black or African American.
I don't know any Hispanics or Latinos who want to be governed by a communist Muslim.
And 15.6 Asian.
Well, let's just keep it back to here for a moment. It's, again, considering the path we've taken and what has happened to the electoral process, we all know there is no more. Minneapolis is a 2-party town, the DFL and the DFL Mysterians. There is no other way to look at what's happening in Minneapolis.
It's almost like the way you look at a NHL box score. Wins, losses, overtime losses, shootout losses.
Yep.
That's how we have to analyze the DFL now.
Man,
Are you a lefty or just a lefty?
Well, and we've seen time and time and again that somebody gets bounced from their seat because they aren't left enough. I told you I got to make a run. I think I'm going to try to combine it with Forever Fireworks.
I hope so. I got some good things to say later on in the show about that.
I want to combine my run with a stop at EcoFun. Because as I told the council members, I need 2 wheels, I need stuff that blows up, and I need water equipment. Time is flying by, and I ain't getting any younger. I'm going to EcoFun tomorrow morning. I got things to do.
They have something you could use.
They got a million things I could use.
A 3-wheeler electric bike.
Yeah, well, okay, Gramps. I'm not really ready for a 3-wheel electric bike.
You sure about that?
I'm not letting the old scooter in.
In fact, GLers, one of the most intriguing reasons why you should be a town
EcoFun
council
I'm trying
member
to talk about.
is the route Rookie was trying to describe, Joe, to get from EcoFun to Fireworks Forever.
EcoFun Motorsports, the big main store, is in Forest Lake on Highway 97, just west of 35. It's the electric bike capital of the world. Scooters, motorcycles, 4x4s, youth recreational equipment, Yamaha water products. I'm telling Yamaha generators. You might as well bring a generator up to the cabin. You know, once the aliens take away our power, you got to have something to plug in. You know what I'm saying? You might want to watch the Twins game. Well, wait, if the aliens take over, there won't be a Twins game. EcoFun Motorsports is very, very fun. I'm making my run tomorrow morning, and I've got some things in mind. I know they'll take care of them. They also have helmets, apparel, and a great service department. EcoFun Motorsports also in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42 and up in Forest Lake / Columbus on Highway 97 immediately west of, on account of, I'm going to explain it to you, on account of those roundabouts you got to go through. So be careful when you're going through the roundabout that on account of, I'll tell you why, because maybe a tornado will start when you go right through the roundabout. It's EcoFun. Man, it's fun. It's the most fun store you'll ever see.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere.
That's
and
right.
causes tornadoes.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for that explanation. EcoFunMotorsports.com. This is Reusse. You've been hearing my friend Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, for years on the radio and the Garage Logic podcast. With summer coming on, I strongly recommend you sit down with Josh for your no-cost, no-obligation, 48-minute consultation on your investments, including your IRA and 401k. You can benefit from Josh's years of experience navigating different market and economic conditions, and he'll always give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice. Give Josh a call now at 952-925-5608 and book your no-cost, no-obligation 48-minute consultation. 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did meet with Josh, and tell him that Reusse sent you.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
I'm going to tell you something right here and right now. I'm really, really hoping that you'll join the GL crew at the big Salute to Cylinders at Cedar Lake Speedway on July 12th. On account of, you want to know why? So we can pass the hat, collect cash, so we can buy Such a ride in that two-seater late model that takes the Brave out for rides between races. I want to see Such go by that flag stand at about 110 miles an hour.
Go bleep yourself. I'm not doing that.
Off the wall.
I'm not doing that.
You're doing it.
The hell I am.
You're doing it, pal.
No, my neck hurts.
It's gonna be. You know, it would be fun.
That'll fix it.
It would be fun just to watch you try to get in that vehicle. It's going to be a lot of fun there. It starts in the afternoon with a very British car show. It's free. It's open to the public. It's open to GLers. But here's the secret. You've got to get there early before 5 p.m. when the regular folks start rolling in. And then you'll be able to stay and stick around, enjoy the night's racing for free. It's a $25 savings. And keep in mind now, you're going to a premier facility. This isn't Cooter and the Duke boys. This is one of the best outfits in the entire United States, just over the border, right there in Wisconsin, among the farms near the Apple River. Typical Saturday night show, about 120 entries of vehicles, including modified late model sprints. And boy, when those sprints spool it up, you're going to feel it in your bones. All of us are going to be there. The fireworks commissioners promised to show up in one of his finely crafted British chariots. And if you want to hang out until the evening, you can do that. Town council members, you're going to have your own VIP area up in the tailgate area. The show runs till about 10 p.m., but please join us. Take the time. You'll find information on our website, GarageLogic.com, and on CedarLakeSpeedway.com.
I've asked people on the staff to please try again to invite Dean Phillips. What did I say early in the appearance of Dean Phillips on the public scene? What did I say? Did I say something that he hasn't gotten over?
Probably.
No, actually, when he came out, when he started to question Biden, you complimented him.
No, but before that, I must have said, what, are you a rich kid playing politics, Dean, or something? I probably said something stupid. But two things, Dean. I'm sorry if I said that. And two, get over it. We really would appreciate you getting in here because you can explain a lot of things. And he's now warning Democrats that if you double down on socialism, you've doomed the party. And they are, I think what's happening, I would love to hear him explain this, but I think what's happening is the answer that appears to be developing to counter Trump is socialism. The AOC is touted as the new face of the Democratic Party, and Zohran Mamdani just wins overwhelmingly in New York, and it seems that the Democrats are beginning to believe that they're going to throw their hat in the ring for socialism, which has never worked anywhere, which is why I might presume that Phillips finds it so disagreeable and could doom the party. And I would love to have Dean come in. And there's a piece in Alpha News today how the local socialist Democrats are really cheering on their fellow DSA member, Zohran Mamdani. Omar Fateh is particularly happy. The local DSA praised Mamdani and urged support for Omar Fateh. If you can't see what's happening, Minneapolis, please open your eyes. Prior to the New York City mayoral primary, Fateh took to X, formerly Twitter, to show his support for friend and fellow DSA member Mamdani. It is really bold of the likes of Mamdani and Fateh to come to this country, condemn it, and want to rebuild it in their own way. It's terribly bold. And they're greeted with great friendliness with this in this state. Fateh, who represents Minneapolis in the state Senate, or portions of Minneapolis, he was elected in 2020. He's a well-known member of the DSA. In 2021, Fateh wanted to replace the police department with something called a Department of Public Safety. That ballot, the voters awakened, and they rejected that overwhelmingly. Fateh has been... his brief career in politics has been marked by controversies, including receiving $11,000 in campaign contributions for high-up individuals in the Feeding Our Food scandal. Fateh had to return that money. In 2022, Fateh's brother-in-law was convicted of lying to a grand jury about his handling of absentee ballots during Fateh's 2020 primary campaign. That's according to the Sahan Journal. Fateh was the subject of a Senate ethics investigation in order to participate in campaign finance training after failing to disclose $1,000 in campaign payments to Somali TV Minnesota. Now his campaign is receiving national attention from socialist circles who are very emboldened by Mamdani winning his primary victory in New York. Mamdani is a 33-year-old assemblyman from Queens. He defeated established Democrats on a platform that included slashing the New York Police Department's budget and raising taxes on the wealthy, all of whom will leave. The wealthy he's talking about are wealthy enough to leave.
Yep.
They're not going to stay there.
It's happened here.
His victory is shocking to many observers. It sent ripples through the Democratic Party. And Democrat Dean Phillips, who is not a Mysterian, he's a moderate Democrat clinging to the idea of a Democrat we might recognize. He wasted no time warning the party that if you keep going down the socialism road, you're going to doom Democrats in 2026. Yes.
I'm glad you came full circle there. How many other Democrats, and keep in mind, Dean's no longer in office, have had the balls to come forward and say that, other than the bald loudmouth from Louisiana?
Carville?
Carville.
Oh, yeah.
Carville and Dean are the only two prominent Democrats that I've heard say that. And I'm wondering, put yourself in the mind of a moderate Democrat. They used to formerly be called progressives, right? Do you think...
No. Moderate Democrats used to be called the DFL.
In this state.
Yeah.
But I don't want to argue this point.
Well, moderate Democrats, Kenny, are not progressive.
I have heard former progressive Democrats that are now anti-Democrat, anti-socialist Democrats. That's where I'm at. That's where my mind is at, okay? Now, put yourself in their shoes. Would it be better, in their mind, to have a socialist Democrat in office or a Republican? And maybe that's why they're not saying anything. Maybe that's why they're not pushing back.
Well, I think in their mind, I think I don't. Well, I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak for Dean Phillips. I bet he would choose a Republican. Well, the right Republican. He ain't going to choose Trump. But Dean Phillips would choose a Republican over a socialist Democrat. That's my suspicion. That's my suspicion.
He's no longer in office. What about those? What do you think Amy would say?
She's a lifer. She'll go with the Democrat.
And I think therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
That's why there's not enough pushback within the party.
She doesn't have enough courage to say what should be said.
Right. So it's always people that are already out of office that have the balls to come forward and say, you guys are headed in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. The far, far left is running the Democratic Party.
The far, far right is running the Republican Party.
And there you have the problem, folks.
I prefer, now this is where we could get in an argument amongst ourselves. I prefer the far, far right over a Democrat of any, unless you can give me one that's not insane.
Here's an interesting question. Omar Fateh's mayoral bid is expected to face strong resistance from business leaders. That makes sense. Law enforcement advocates. That makes sense. And moderate Democrats. How many moderate Democrats are voting in Minneapolis? Of the 62% of white residents of Minneapolis, how many of them have remained moderate Democrats?
We'd have to put an age on that, wouldn't we? People over 30?
The voters won't have nearly as much of an impact as the business owners will with that.
No, well, the other point I would make about what the sentence I just read is, if Fateh faces very strong resistance from business, police, and moderate Democrats, but still wins, then who in the hell is among us here? Who's driving this?
Yeah, there you go. That's the
question. Very small percentage of people. And Fry, of course, is running. He's seeking a third term.
Joe, do you think the police union and law enforcement have any voting pull at all anymore in Minneapolis? They do in greater Hennepin County, but not in Minneapolis. They don't like the cops.
Well, progressives certainly don't. Fateh was in the forefront of trying to eliminate police departments.
We really need to get Dean on. You need to grovel. You need to call him.
I'm more
personally.
than willing to grovel. I can't even reach anybody to grovel.
Apologize.
Via
Send
Twitter
him
right
an
now.
old school letter if you have to. Apologize for whatever you said.
I'm sending him a message through Twitter right now.
I don't know what I said.
Don't do Twitter, Matthew. It's got to be more personal.
No, not Twitter. I'm just sending him a direct message.
Everybody is alarmed with some justification because the Supreme Court today seems to have ruled to strike down birthright citizenship. That's not what they did.
Yeah, sort of, not really.
That's not what they did.
Yeah.
What they did is rule that district judges have no right to counter some of Trump's executive orders. One of them being Trump would like to strike down birthright citizenship, and he has found district judges have suggested that no, you cannot do that. What the Supreme Court said is no, you district judges cannot tell Trump he can't do it. What sounds to me like the Supreme Court is saying you'll have to leave it up to us. And I would hope the Supreme Court would honor the it's the 14th Amendment, isn't it?
Yes.
It's written about as plain as it can be. If you're born in this country, you're a citizen. And Trump is making it sound like people are coming here specifically to have children. And he said the 14th Amendment was intended only for the babies of slaves. Maybe that was true at the time. That probably was taken into consideration. But it's come to mean more than that. If you're born in this country, you're a citizen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Trump wants to say, no, you're not. I don't know what the hell Trump is envisioning. An Aryan society? I have no idea. What the hell? If you're born here, you're a citizen.
Cut and dry.
It's about the plainest language in the Constitution. It doesn't have any therefores and heretofores and thereouts. And So what the Supreme Court did today was they limited the ability of federal judges to pause Trump's executive orders. The justices made no ruling on the constitutionality of his move to end birthright citizenship, and they stopped his order from taking effect for 30 days. So for the next 30 days, he can't say you're not a citizen if you were born here. And much more reading will have to be done on my part to smoke out what the Supreme Court might be up to. So we're like I say, enjoy the 4th of July while you can, because one way or the other, she's on the way out.
Can I run a theory by you on how I'm optimistically approaching this now?
I would love to hear some optimism.
The whole thing about illegal immigrants and immigration and all of that. What do all of us that are conservative, what really makes us stand up and shout when you take away our income when it comes to money? And that's what we're seeing across the country, where ICE is coming in and they're invading farms and factories and other situations where illegal immigrants are doing the work that we don't want to do. That's hitting people in their pocketbook. And a lot of those people are conservative, and they're the ones speaking up. And that's why I am optimistic that something positive is eventually going to come out of all of this. What do you think?
I appreciate your effort.
Now, here's a cookie. Go sit in the corner.
No, I do appreciate it. I do.
But remember, at one point, the president said, Kenny, we would lighten up on that. And within 3 days, they changed their minds.
Yeah.
No, we don't care.
I just think when you start hitting people in the pocketbook, that's when things change. I don't know.
I think you're right. There's a conservative. I don't know if you guys saw the Rogan piece the other day, where Joe Rogan, who's not exactly a liberal, said we didn't sign up for this. We wanted criminals arrested who are immigrants, not just randomly grabbing people who are here illegally and throwing them out of the country.
Yeah.
Which I thought was odd to hear from him, but
can I?
You also need to watch him interview Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I do. I did. It's wonderful.
That was fun.
Can I? I have to get something off my chest. Okay. It's just it's apropos of nothing.
You
really.
Still got a lot of mulch left?
No, it's all gone.
Okay.
Everything's cleaned up.
Happy about that.
No, I just want to. If nothing else. This hedonistic, preposterous wedding between Bezos and Lauren Sanchez is making for some really bad optics given the condition of the world. It's just ridiculous. It's obscenely grotesque. It's preposterous.
Didn't he learn his lesson the first time?
Well, he did, because this one's got a prenup.
Okay.
First one didn't.
It's $25,000.
The prenup in this one must be 800 pages compared to the first one, which was 0 pages.
You don't think there's any Lenten loopholes in there?
No. But really, I do what you want. I don't care that you have that much money. More power to you.
But don't preach to me.
Hell, there's a box from Amazon I'm cutting up every day for recycling. I get the whole deal. But this looks so tawdry, given the suffering right now in the world and the suffering in this country and the suffering everywhere you want to look in the world. And these clowns, I just can't take it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, my God, it's just so...
The coverage, too, is insane, and I thought that right away. And then today when I saw the Wall Street Journal with a gigantic picture on the front page, I thought, why do they have that picture situated here? Why?
Well, I'm going to say, I agree with you on that picture, but you know what the Wall Street Journal does? A good job, and all papers used to do it, and it's becoming more and more infrequent. But they'll have random pictures throughout the paper of... a tomato festival in Gazooka country or something. They'll just show you that normal life is taking place around the world despite the troubles. But so that's probably under the rubric that wedding picture fell. But yeah, I agree. Why put it on the front?
It was just odd placement,
Yeah.
I thought.
They've got NDA, disclosures, all that kind of stuff. They can't, nobody can talk about it. Then why go? I got invited. Did you have fun? I can't say.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about it.
I can't. I did go.
I wish everyone I knew would sign one of those for me.
From when? About 1979?
Yeah,
Just
when?
everybody I meet. Hi, how you doing today, Steve? Sign this.
Sign
would you?
this.
Say if you have a business you're thinking of expanding or moving or starting from scratch, consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In addition to having a business-friendly tax environment with no personal or corporate state income taxes, Sioux Falls is growing. Well, there are almost 300,000 people. They have a large, well-educated workforce. The cost of living is low, well, certainly lower than we here in the land of 11,726 lakes or whatever it is. Contact Sioux Falls Development Foundation to connect with the tools and resources to stop searching for a business site and start growing in Sioux Falls. Voted #1 best small city for business and careers according to Forbes magazine. It's business friendly. There's great incentive to take advantage of in Sioux Falls. It's the state's largest city. It has low business costs, and a high quality of life. And as I said, no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve, and entrepreneurs are welcome. SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. Make that one word. How's my voice doing?
SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Thank you.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
So our buddy GLer Bob from up here in Douglas County lives by the creed, work smarter, not harder. And he's taken the use of Bugs Be Gone to a whole new level. When he sees rain coming his way, he heads to the garage, sprays down his windshields, the bumper, the front end with Bugs Be Gone, then pulls them out in the rain and lets Mother Nature do all the work. It's so fun that we keep getting these updates on the various ways to use Seafoam Bugs Be Gone. You're all very inventive. Motorcycle riders, you keep it in your saddlebags. Golfers keep it in the cart. It's being used on lawnmowers. Just keep sending them in, and I'll keep sharing them with the whole group. Generally speaking, here's what you do. If you're just about to buy your first spray bottle of Bugs Be Gone, and assuming you're at the filling station, when you're getting gas, spray it on before you fire up the pump. Let it set there a few minutes, then simply squeegee the windshield like normal, no extra pressure. You'll agree this stuff is amazing. It's magic. The bugs melt away, and that windshield will be brand new. Just another fine product from our friends at Seafoam. It's called Bugs Be Gone, as we look at video of Deep Creep, which is also amazing.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Vance Belter appeared in federal court this morning as a judge considered whether to allow him to be released on bond ahead of his trial. The 57-year-old Belter of Green Isle charged with murder, stalking, and firearms offenses in connection with the June 14th killing of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and a separate shooting that injured Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. The shooting set out what authorities say was the largest manhunt in Minnesota history. 2 U.S. Marshals escorted Belter into the packed courtroom in St. Paul for the 11 o'clock hearing. He was wearing a green suicide safety smock designed to prevent inmates from hanging themselves. Manvar Atwal, the public defender assigned to Belter's case, requested a continuance from the judge because his client had not been able to sleep in almost 2 weeks due to the conditions while in custody. Aside from discomfort,
That's too bad.
Aside from discomfort wearing the anti-suicide garment, Belter had raised concerns to Atwal about the lights being on nonstop, sleeping on a mat with no pillow, doors slamming constantly, and an inmate next to him spreading feces. Atwal She had asked the Sherburne County Jail, where Belter is being held, to move her client to segregation, but not on suicide watch, so he could wear a normal jail uniform and undergarments.
No.
She said more comfortable conditions might afford Belter some sleep and would help communication with her client. U.S. attorneys did not object to the motion to continue the hearing, but Magistrate Judge John Doherty advised Belter he has a right to this hearing, and any delay would be outside the statutory 14-day window. Police have arrested a man in connection with the Boom Island Park shooting earlier this month that killed a woman and injured 6 other people. 23-year-old Zaire Porter was arrested yesterday as police executed a search warrant in Spring Lake Park. Porter was booked into Hennepin County Jail on suspicion of murder. A large group had gathered at the park for an apparent barbecue when gunfire erupted at around 9:30 that evening. Stegina Shapiro Whitting of Brooklyn Center was shot in the torso and later died in the hospital. 4 men suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 1 man had a life-threatening wound, and a woman was reportedly hurt in the shooting. An 18-year-old has now been indicted on a first-degree murder charge in connection with the murder of Diamond Manley in the city of Ramsey in March. You remember we talked about this story when it happened. Authorities announcing the arrest of 4 teens, including then 17-year-old, Malik Jamar Perales. Police were called to a report of a person slumped over in a car near Snowy Owl Road in Ramsey on March 2nd. There they found Manley deceased in his car with a gunshot wound. Authorities said the 4 teens rifled through Manley's pockets looking for vape pens after shooting him. Today marks 30 years since the disappearance of Jody Huisentruit, who worked as a television news anchor in Mason City, Iowa, and was a Minnesota native. The case has stumped investigators for decades. The 27-year-old Huisentruit disappeared while on her way to work during the early morning hours in 1995. Some of her belongings were found scattered near her car in the parking lot of the apartment building she lived in. However, no body has ever been found, and no one has ever been charged in the case. Today, her family and friends are gathering in front of the television station where she worked to remember her and also ask for any information anyone might have to help investigators with the case. Huisentruit was from Long Prairie, about 2 hours from Minneapolis in central Minnesota. She had worked previously at KSAX in Alexandria. If you know anything about what happened to her, you're asked to contact the Mason City Police Department. From the Star Tribune, your last chance to visit Sex World is coming up.
One last hurrah.
Things are so bad in Minneapolis.
Where did I go?
How bad are they?
I was going to get the edible underwear for Pete Goodrich on the morning show. Or what was his name? Tom Goodrich?
Tom Goodrich, yeah.
And I went into, it was Lickety Split. I went into Lickety Split, and I had no idea what I was doing. And the guy behind me knew exactly where the wall of toys were. He made a beeline, and that guy, I should have asked him, where's the edible underwear?
Why is Sex World closing?
Well, Sex World.
Where is it, by the way?
On Washington.
I don't know.
I'm sure you've driven by it a million times.
Probably.
Too.
It's actually just a couple of blocks from Height's, isn't it?
Yes.
It's in pork chops, and then...
Sex World was once 3 stories tall, featured a live peep show, and became a rite of passage in the Twin Cities. It'll close its doors permanently this Sunday.
What year did you pass through?
29th. The closure
Back in the 60s.
The closure was confirmed by Haley Buchanan of DB Graphics, which owns the store, and the THC joint, a downtown Minneapolis smoke shop, also slated to close. Buchanan indicates the closures, Joe, are the result of economic stress and regulations on the sale of THC. Sex World opened in 1993, and for nearly all of its run, it was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The store became famous locally for its extensive collection of adult films and toys, and for the 6-foot-long unit that patrons could ride like a mechanical bull.
I always like to go on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's just right before they shut down.
Stocking stuffers?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kenny?
I think you guys just missed what he just said.
No.
I heard it. That's why I was talking.
Just wanted to breeze right by it, I think is what Joe was working on.
I wonder with the big sale if they're going to have those people that when they're closing a paint store or a Menards or a Target or something like that, they have the people with the big signs, 70% off. Come on in.
They might.
Store's most famous employee was probably Diablo Cody, the Hollywood screenwriter best known for the 2007 film Juno. She once performed in the live Peep Show there. In her biography, Candy Girl, A Year in the Life of an Unlikely Stripper, Cody described the shop as the Walmart of sex and a place that was, quote, perpetually jumping.
Okay, now a live Peep Show. Mm-hmm. What, did you literally look through a little peephole at somebody behind on the other side of the wall?
Rook, how did that work?
You got to be careful which hole you look through.
Well, what I mean,
Whoa,
what?
I didn't sign up for that.
Hey, what's this? Hang on.
You know, what comes to mind is that Garrison Keillor joke he told us about the fence.
The fence.
And the knot hole.
29.
You never know what you're going to get poked in the eye
Yeah,
with.
you got to really be careful.
Is that what is it? It is, though, was a hole in the wall?
Like a
Kenny?
knot hole gang?
I've never been there, Joe.
Neither have I.
Hey,
And
Joel,
that-
come over here and look through the wall.
Hey, 30,
That place
30.
on the same block as J.D. Hoyt's, I've never been in that one either. Whatever. I think that was a dancing establishment.
That's the VU.
No, J.D. Hoyt's a restaurant.
No, you didn't listen again.
Oh,
On
Jesus.
the same block as J.D. Hoyt's.
I see.
Yeah, that's
That's the VU.
98 ugly girls and 2 pretty ones? Or
Is that still functioning?
Yeah, it's very hip. I go there.
Why
for
do
the-
I look at you?
I don't know. I go there for the free taco buffet.
I mean, if you want to talk to me, you're going to have to make references like the pain reliever.
Oh,
or
yeah.
that
I have been to
spooky-
the pain
That
reliever.
Okay.
spooky joint in St. Paul. I don't remember
Casey's?
what it was.
The lamplighter.
The lamplighter, thank you. Or
Casey's on West 7th, you bring your
Those are
Windex?
the
Here's the
ones I'm
thing.
familiar
Here's
with.
What was the one on Dale and University?
Was
that
that
was
one
Ferris
a Ferris?
Alexander.
That was the Ferris
That was the
Alexander
Faust.
place.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not
St.
a.
Paul, you had to bring your Windex and your glass cutter.
I'm not a. Yeah, I was going to say I'm not a frequenter of strip clubs, but I like them classy where the girls are behind the plexiglass.
Yeah.
And then over in Wisconsin, of course, you show up with your miner's helmet.
Breakfast at Ben's.
No.
Breakfast at
Exams.
Ben's.
No, that Kenny's funniest line ever was the stripper up in what's the town in northern Wisconsin? I'm thinking
Hayward?
Hurley, and
yeah.
yeah, mom's working a double shift. The kid's at the bar doing his homework.
And Grandma comes in with a casserole.
Grandma comes in with the
He's got to
macaroni.
eat dinner.
I gotta have him eat.
I like Kenny's old intros. When we welcome to the stage.
Yeah.
Fresh at, well, okay. No.
In national and international
Fresh from a
headlines.
cesarean section.
Oh, God. Yikes. A top Senate official rejected a slew of major provisions in Republicans' sweeping domestic policy bill, sending party leaders rushing to salvage legislation a week before the July 4th deadline the president has set. Elizabeth McDonough is the parliamentarian who enforces the chamber's rules, said several of the measures in the legislation that would provide hundreds of billions of dollars in savings could not be included in the legislation in their current form. They include one that would crack down on strategies that many states have developed to obtain more federal Medicaid funds, and another that would limit repayment options for student loan borrowers. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said yesterday his country had delivered, quote, a slap to America's face by striking a U.S. airbase in Qatar and warned against further attacks in his first public comment since a ceasefire agreement with Israel. Khamenei's pre-recorded speech that aired on Iranian state television, his first appearance since June 19th, was filled with warnings and threats directed toward the U.S. and Israel, the Islamic Republic's longtime adversaries.
Let's welcome her back. She had to go down to the city for a little barometric, whatever that surgery is.
Prices that consumers pay rose slightly in May, while the annual inflation rate edged further away from the Federal Reserve's target, according to the Commerce Department report this morning. Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, the Fed's primary inflation reading, rose a seasonally adjusted 0.1% for the month, putting the annual inflation rate at 2.3%. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been looking for respective levels of 0.1 to 2.3%.
I'm sorry, John.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
When it comes to getting rid of illegals. Why don't we just concentrate on those involved in illegal drug trade and sexual assault cases?
Criminals.
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 Isn't that what we tried here and everyone protested?
Well, I don't count here because we're nuts.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not what's going on, though, nationally at this point.
You don't have to grab some ma coming out of the dollar store. I want you to grab the drug dealer.
Yeah,
Grab all the drug dealers, you can get rid of 90% of the problem.
I want to pick and choose. Those guys up in my roof putting down new shingles.
I want them to stay.
Keep going, pal.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Right.
Bill Moyers, who served as chief spokesman for President Johnson during the American military buildup in Vietnam and then went on to a long and celebrated career as a broadcast journalist, has died. He was 91. Moyers was President Johnson's closest aide, present on Air Force One in Dallas when Johnson took the oath of office after the assassination of John Kennedy. Moyers played a pivotal role in the inception of Johnson's Great Society programs and was the president's top administrative assistant and press secretary when Johnson sent thousands of troops to fight in the Vietnam War. He resigned from the administration in December 1966 at age 32. That caused some problems with him and Johnson. Johnson, known for his, shall we say, anger at times, would never speak again to Bill Moyers the rest of his life. In his 4 decades as a television correspondent and commentator, Moyers, an ordained Baptist minister, explored issues ranging from poverty, violence, income equality, and racial bigotry to the role of money in politics, threats to the Constitution, and climate change. He won more than 30 Emmy Awards in comparisons to Edward R. Murrow, his revered predecessor at CBS. He worked for PBS for a long time, left there, went to CBS for about 10 years, but then went back to PBS when he said CBS was turning more into entertainment than it was to news. Moyers finally retired in 2015 at the age of 80.
Question about Bill. His reason for quitting Johnson, was it solely based on Vietnam? Or was there anything else in there that he knew that he did not reveal? You can see where I'm going with this, John Heidt, from the grin on your face.
Oh, okay. Now I see where you're going. Yeah, he was disillusioned, he said, with what was going on with Vietnam.
Probably because he knew he had LBJ do the dirty deed against JFK.
I'm gonna just come through there, and I'm gonna slap Kenny, then I'm gonna take your head, Joe, and I'm gonna do a Three Stooges thing. I'm gonna go bonk,
and then you're gonna throw it to Reavers.
Why don't we go to Reavers? Because are we having Patrick today?
We are, but first I need to tell you about North American Banking Company. How about this, you guys? So I was looking up what location I was going to go visit because I had to go make a payment.
Yeah.
Traffic is so bad in the Twin Cities.
How bad is it?
Leaving here, it was going to take me less time to go to Hastings than it was to go to 50th in France.
You're kidding.
I am not joking.
I believe you.
It was about the exact same time. And I
Holy mackerel.
It's been a minute since I've been to Hastings.
So wait a minute. You went to Hastings
Yes.
and you live in Jordan?
Yes. Well, I had to go to Faribault anyway later that day.
Okay.
So it made way more sense for me to drive over to Hastings.
Got it.
Wow.
What a cool location, though. And I talked to the gals out there. They were
Hastings
more
is
than
beautiful.
helpful. It's a great town. It really is. And it's a very convenient location right off of 55. It's a really cool location.
Did I ever tell you they used to have that really neat spiral bridge?
It did.
Yeah.
I like the new bridge, too.
I do, too.
It's a neat bridge.
I like bridges.
You like bridges, Joey?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, you could drive over that neat little bridge at Hastings, Joe, when you go sign up at North American Banking Company. They rely on one simple philosophy, and that is this. It's banking done differently. And you get that feeling no matter where. If you're going to spend 5 hours getting to 50th in France, or go to Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or also in Roseville and Maple Grove, they offer all of the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. So check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. And here we go.
Here, I'm going to give you this, Rook.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Boom! I got your attention now there, didn't I, everybody? I tell you, if you want more booms for less bucks, then you're looking for Fireworks Forever. And it's not just about the boom. It's about knowledge. It's about getting the right product. And it's about people that do your ad for you, so you just don't have to do anything. Every year I buy fireworks for my family on the 4th of July celebration. This year, based on Rookie's recommendation, I shopped at the Fireworks Forever Somerset location. Again, I buy fireworks every year, but have never had a staff be as helpful as this one was. I have 2 small grandsons, so wanted to get some fireworks that they could enjoy, watching Papa light during the daytime that would entertain and amaze them, but not scare them. One of the employees came out from behind the counter, guided me around the store, showing me fireworks that would work better for them. These fireworks are great for daytime, and they're not as loud or scary. Fireworks Forever, they even have fun designs the grandkids will love seeing me light off. That type of service from a fireworks store was amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing the boys' faces light up when Papa shares the 4th of July fireworks experience with them. Thanks, guys. I tell you what, I'm sure there's other notes like that we're going to get for fireworksforever.com. Go to their website. Their locations in Somerset and St. Croix Falls, a knowledgeable staff, veteran-owned since 81. We're getting very close to the celebration, and we're getting very close to winding up this Fireworks Forever spot. So I want you to go online to fireworksforever.com. When you walk in the store, let them know that you're a garage logician. You heard it on the podcast, and that testimonial should tell you you're not buying your fireworks anywhere else but Fireworks Forever at fireworksforever.com.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, did they pay extra for those 7-minute ads? Did they pay extra for those?
That has to be taken care of.
I had to go a little longer because when I said boom, I scared the crap out of Joe. Yeah.
Little longer, for God's sake.
Hey, Pat, was yesterday a record for the longest rain delay?
No, they had a longer one in 19, I was told, or somebody like that. They had one that was 4 hours and 40 minutes or something. But this was, it was close, that's for sure. But it did bore the Mariners into submission. That was good. So,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I know it was ridiculous. But that's what you get when a team's only coming to town once, and they don't want to have to fly them back on a mutual off day. So that's the way that works. But hey. What the hell? What's with this pitching? I tell you, I said they look a lot better when they give up 0 or 1 runs than when they give up 13, don't they?
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. They look a lot sharper. So I'm at the Associated Press Sports Editors Convention, which isn't big as it used to be, but it's over in Minneapolis.
Are you there now?
And Tom Boswell is receiving the Red Smith Award.
Really?
Just talking to him for a while. And I said to him, the only trouble with this is it's causing you to miss the Bezos wedding. And he laughed at that. He did not get an invitation to the wedding in which the guy rented Venice.
Is he still with the Post?
He writes 1 column a month. You're a hard worker compared to him.
Yeah.
one column per month, he writes. So
you're a hard worker compared to him.
Anyway,
I don't have a contract, Pat. I
got a contract, not for much longer though. By the way, so I don't know if I'll have a contract after December.
Speaking of that, Pat, I saw Youngblood's hanging him up.
I have one. Youngblood. We got some other guys taking the buyout too. 4 or 5 sports guys are taking the buyout. So, but Youngblood, I told you about Youngblood's timing. He was going to quit at the end of the year anyway, and then all of a sudden, boom! They come and offer the.
Is this Kent we're talking about?
Kent, yeah.
He was Dick's kid when I was there. He's about 5.
Oh yeah.
Now he's retired.
Now he's retired.
What the? I got a new fart button.
Yeah, you're good. You're still here.
I got to tell you his buyout stories. He was a news assistant here for like 5 years, right? And they were in the union, they were in the guild. And he got a job in Madison. In the morning, he came in to tell them that he was going to Madison. They announced buyouts, so he got like 10,000 to leave. And then when he was coming back here from Madison, 2 days before he was going to tell him he was going to Minneapolis, they had buyouts. So he's been the buyout king, man.
Man alive.
I still love the
You ever get a
Lakers story with
buyout?
him.
I never got a buyout.
I never did.
You don't have a contract.
No. Well, I would have at the time. I just didn't get one.
I still love, Pat, your Los Angeles
Maybe
Lakers
I
story
did.
with
I don't
Youngblood.
remember.
That's one of the best ever.
My what?
Your Lakers story with Youngblood.
Oh, yeah, when we played the prank on him, yeah. We said that we had brunch at Jackie Treehorn's house, and so could he go to the shoot-around in the morning. Didn't talk to us for a day and a half until we're going to the airport. I said, "You moron!" But it was maybe one of my most successful pranks ever. It was great.
So the Twins are going to Detroit,
Yes,
and they'll find out how good the Tigers are.
And they don't have to face Scoobel till Sunday. Sunday they have Sunday. We're on Sunday night baseball. For the first time in 5 years. But then we have to suffer the indignity of having Scoobel pitch against us, the left-hander who's Sandy Koufax, basically.
Big weekend in Detroit because they got the Rocket Mortgage going, the golf tournament.
Okay.
At the Detroit Golf Club. What famous soul singer had her mansion right on the Detroit Golf Club?
So they're playing there.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh, they did, but didn't they? I thought they used to play at Oakland Hills, but they moved it to the Detroit Country Club.
Well, it's been at the Detroit Country Club for a long time, as far as I know.
They remember they had the tornado hit Oakland Hills and tore down the old clubhouse there.
I thought a fire took down the clubhouse.
Or was it a fire, man?
It's a fire.
I don't know. Tornadoes, fire. It got destroyed. I know that.
Pat, do you know what causes tornadoes?
Oh, God.
Circular wind.
Well, do you know what brings about the circular wind? We're going to play something for you. This explains it.
Hang tight. Let me cue this up here.
Yeah.
And
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
There you have it. We didn't have tornadoes until we got traffic circles.
Yes, right.
On account of, you want to know why?
You want to know why? I kind of agree with the guy.
you are the chief among the roundabout haters in the state of Minnesota.
I hate him too. God,
Patrick,
they're pointless.
Patrick, these guys have been having fun with him, but he's our people. I mean, we grew up with that guy.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah, he might be from Fulda for all we know. Kimbry. Maybe Kimbry or Lismore, one of those. Fulda was a capital of commerce compared to some of those towns down there.
Patrick, when you work in on account of you want to know why into your next column, make sure that that's one word. On account of you want to know why.
On account of you want to know.
Oh, I love that. What else you got going in sports, son?
Well, what the hell do we
Oh, I know.
Locally, we had our draft.
Yep.
We hired some big Frenchmen. Drafted some big Frenchmen, and then we drafted a big Australian. So I don't know why we want all those 7-footers, but what's with the Frenchman's first name being Joan? Huh?
I love the fact that it looked almost like Juan Berenguer when he was drafted. I thought that was great. Jean Berenguer.
Yes, Jean Berenguer.
Yeah, his name is Joan.
I didn't know it was that was a pronunciation. You know what I found about my neighbor, and I haven't Chip, the fellow who
we lost Chip, didn't we?
Chip, yeah, the fellow who died, and his first name was, his last name was Johnson. His first name is Jean, Jean. I wonder if he had a French mama. I got to find out at we got the services Monday morning, so I got to find out what the Jean connection is.
Well, and where is this conclave you're attending? Where's that being held?
It's at they've kind of downgraded. They're at the Courtyard Marriott. And they said that you're supposed to pay for your parking ahead of time, but I'll be damned if I know how I could do that. So I might be here for like days. I don't know, getting out of the
They found them there on floor number 3.
Why don't we talk to you Monday in person?
All right. See ya.
Thank you, Pat. What do you want to do?
On account of what you want to know why?
On account of you want to know why?
I do want to talk to you about our friends at We Are Nuts.
Oh.
Those are good nuts.
And We Are Nuts. Hey, who stole the stash over here, the honey mustard stash? Guilty?
No,
Guilty?
Honest to God.
No, I did not.
All right, Kyle, then you're the guilty party then.
I want to know where the stash was, though. That's what I want to know.
Are there any cashews in the building?
No, Kenny tried to bogart those last week at the back to the 50s. But,
Boiled.
he was intercepted at the gate. But here's the deal. Go to wearenutsmn.com. And as I learned yesterday, Mr. Fratelloni let me know, a lot of the stores now have the end caps.
I'd like to see that.
And I believe your location, because you're the Grand Avenue Fratelloni's guy. Grandindale. I believe they are, if they don't have it yet, I believe their end cap of We Are Nuts is going up at some point within the next couple of days. But that's really cool. Mike said that they're flying off the shelves at all the Fratelloni's.
Because I ain't buying any other nuts in there. I only want the We Are Nuts.
Correct.
Eric, the general manager, will make sure that the Dale and Amherst locations on Grand have
Fantastic. The maple bourbon toffee almonds have become a favorite of mine, but the toffee peanuts are great, and also the ultimate sampler is really good.
It's like a kid. How can you have a favorite?
I know, and it's the selection continues to grow. You guys had the dill pickle peanuts
Fantastic.
a week ago that are coming to the state fair, but just go to their website and you can place your order no matter where you live if you're not able to get to a Fratelloni's, but you can place that order at wearenutsmn.com, and please do all of us a favor and mention that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Hey, this is Pete from Hire Pro. Let me let you in on a little secret. You don't need a roofing company. Yeah, I know, it's hail damage, probably sounds a little contradictory, but you don't. The thing they don't want you to know is just like when it hails on the house of someone who owns a roofing company, you're allowed to general contract your own project, and you're allowed to keep the compensation that insurance gives you. In the last 3 years, the average homeowner helped by Hire Pro has saved about $6,000. Average. Before you sign anything with anybody, hit up Hire a Pro. We will review your claim with you and show you exactly what goes into labor, materials, how much profit would be on the claim for a roofing company, and how much you can keep when you general contract your own project. It's super simple, and in the end, you get the exact same product. A high-quality roof installed with a warranty and by a licensed and insured crew. So hit us up at hirea.pro, and we'll show you on your claim how the cake is made. And in the end, if you'd rather have someone with no transparency take all of your money, you can always still get that done, just not from us.
Visit them online at then put a .pro. It's so simple, even the people knocking on your door could do it.
Finally,
thank God today is Friday. TGTI Friday. It's the scramble!
Folks, I can tell you right now that Escape With Us Vacations is planning a wonderful trek out west to Tombstone on an actual dude ranch where they have rented out the entire dude ranch. This will be in September. EscapeWithUsVacations.com. And you can do great things there, like archery. You can stay in the marshal's office, the Grand Hotel, the courthouse. They have themed buildings. 4-night package includes round trip on Sun Country Air, motor coach transportation, breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily, and 4 ranch activities. You can do more if you want to, plus nightly entertainment. That's the Tombstone trip that's coming up this September. Book right now. But remember, Croatia next year. And remember that Escape With Us Vacations travels the world and can plan anything they want. River cruises, European vacations, Caribbean islands with the kids and grandkids, etc. I know a guy here that took his whole family, the entire family. I'd like to remind him of that. And they had a blast time. Group trips, individual getaways, and bucket list dream vacations. It's all waiting for you at escapewithusvacations.com. That's escapewithusvacations.com. Or go ahead and dial them up at 651-788-4338.
Well, you know what that music means.
What's that, Joe?
It's time to recognize our GLer of the Week, brought to you by Masters Maples. Patrick Scully of Red Wing, Minnesota. Today, we salute you, Patrick Scully, you annual town council member since January of 2023. Along with our warmest personal regards, Patrick, you'll be getting a $50 gift box from Masters Maples to enjoy this 4th of July. Tune in each week as we salute one of our town council members as GLer of the Week. If you want your chance to be recognized on the show, head to garagelogic.com and sign up for an annual town council membership before June 30, and that way you're eligible in July. Patrick Scully of Red Wing is the current winner.
Oh, Scully. Skulls.
I want to put in a little word for Mayor Jimmy Francis's town of South St. Paul. Kaposha Day starts today with a parade. Are you the master?
I'm not. He wanted me to be on his float. I just like to go to the parade and people watch. It's the best people watching in town. They got great food all weekend.
No, you just like to go to the parade and celebrate.
I'll throw him a beer.
Today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Correct.
In South St. Paul. That's an old tradition.
It is. It's very festive.
Yeah.
South St. Paul people know how to party.
And I have a public service announcement. I don't know how, let's see. Vandals, well, this is according to an emailer. I haven't seen this in the newspaper.
I actually have the story but skipped it. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Is it real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The storm sewer story?
That's it, yeah.
Boy, oh boy, be careful on your walks or bike rides around St. Paul. Vandals have removed more than 150 storm sewer grates from St. Paul streets.
Why?
They're
For
so
no
heavy.
other reason than to be idiots, because all they do is throw them down the sewer.
Oh, so they don't bring them to a scrap metal place?
Nope.
They're so heavy.
That's true.
They're just being hoodlums.
Scrap metal prices are so
Each
low.
one weighs 150 pounds. They drop them into the storm drains, but then you're left with this open hole where the covers have been removed. So if you're walking along, this is terrible. If you're walking along or on your bike, man, you're in trouble. I did not know this. I'm going to be very attentive now on my walk.
I was going to say, you walk every day.
Holy mackerel.
You also have to be careful, and I know this from walking Larry, because dogs are drawn to storm drains.
Yes.
You don't want your dog anywhere around.
Is that your neighbor? Is your neighbor
What's this going to mean for the raccoons?
It is not my dog.
Got it.
Yeah. Only because they
Wait
come
a
to
minute.
us.
I
What?
hate to send Kenny. I'm so sorry to do this ahead of vacation, but we have some sad news to pass along, courtesy of Jordy. I missed this.
Uh-oh.
We just lost Cletus Hogg.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Cletus, you dipstick.
Rick Hurst passed away. A fixture in great
Kenny's not
television
here.
history.
Did Kenny leave?
I know. I'm right,
He's right
here.
here.
Oh,
He's absorbing the tragic and sad news.
I'm
that we
listening to
lost
GL today.
Cletus.
So Cletus from
Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad you said that, because I had no idea who Cletus Hogg was.
79 years young.
is that all?
Yeah. What a great
was
character.
he a sheriff's deputy? Or?
He was a deputy, yep.
Yeah. Only because they come to us all the way from.
See,
Well, that's
Cletus was the one that was referred to as a dipstick
Right.
by Roscoe.
Right.
You scuffed my vehicle.
Dipstick.
Okay.
Wow.
Only because they come to us
Not a big Dukes of Hazzard guy, huh?
all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, from the traveling Lymans. It was on this day in Minnesota history.
June 27th.
On this day in 1928, Rudy Perpich was born in Carson Lake near Hibbing.
Huh.
Rudy was the Iron Ranger who became one of Minnesota's most colorful governors, serving from 1976 to 79, and again in 1983 to 1991. He sent National Guard troops to Austin to quell tensions during the Hormel strike in 1986, and he signed a law returning the state's drinking age to 21.
Ooh, boo.
During his terms, the state lottery was established and education was heavily funded. Rudy died on November 21st, 1995. Rudy was an okay guy.
It was fun.
He was an okay guy.
He was one of the guys.
One of the guy. On this day,
June 27th.
in 1975, the taxi cab drivers of the Twin Cities split from the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, and established their own union, the Guild of Taxi Drivers and Associated Workers. And now you'd be hard-pressed to even see a taxi cab.
Right.
You got all these Uber things.
And the lifts.
Right.
Yeah. On this day,
June 27.
in 1977, heiress Elizabeth Congdon and her nurse were murdered at Glen Sheen Mansion in Duluth. In a sensational trial, Congdon's son-in-law, Roger Caldwell, was convicted of the murders. New evidence in the case set him free a year later, but incriminated his wife, Marjorie. Acquitted of these murders, but found guilty in 2 arson cases, Marjorie was sentenced to serve time in an Arizona prison. In an Arizona prison.
There you got it, cowboy.
Now, are either of them alive, John? Roger Caldwell or Marjorie? I wonder if they're still alive.
They can't be.
And that mansion has been turned into a tourist trap.
I love it. It's my favorite thing to do when I go there.
Well, once you've seen it, why even go back?
Just to see if they change
Just
anything.
a dark, old, depressing. I don't get it. I don't get it.
On this day,
Hey, so was first half. I mean, come on.
in 1998,
Not a comparison.
well, you're not wrong.
It's not a comparison.
On this day,
June
in
20.
1998,
June 27th.
Gaylord Guy Paulson
Gaylord.
finished constructing his replica of a Norwegian stave church and gifted the building to the city of Moorhead at its dedication ceremony.
What a nice thing to do.
Sure. On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history, on this day,
June 27th.
in 1969, it was reported that the Pipers announced they will play 69-70 season back in Pittsburgh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, lost the team. That was a disappointment.
What were the Pipers?
On this day,
June 27th.
this is in this day in history every day.
Yeah.
2001, the Timberwolves have no first-round draft pick due to penalties from illegal Joe Smith deal.
I can help
That's
you.
been here every day.
It's because they lost 5 consecutive first-round picks. It was 5 straight years of that.
Well,
That's
I'm
why.
not going to do it every year on June 27th.
No, Joe. Every year for 5 years, they lost one.
I know, but next year on June 27th, I'm going to have to do this one again.
I don't know.
On this
it'll be
day,
a different one,
Whatever
but
day
it'll
they-
be the same one.
Yeah,
And it
whatever
could be
day
like
the draft was.
Could it be like a Saturday? We won't be here.
I mean,
on this day,
June 27th.
in 2011, this is rather mundane, and yet it made sports disappointment history. The Twins lost to the Dodgers 15-zip.
Oh, I do remember that.
That'll
game.
happen.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. They stunk that year.
On this day,
June 27th.
in 2013, the Wolves drafted Trey Burke trade for Shabazz Muhammad ahead of Giannis and C.J. McCollum. Wait a minute. They also had a chance to draft the Greek?
Twice.
Holy mackerel.
Yep.
So they lost Stefan, what's his name?
Curry.
And Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
I know.
Right.
Wow. That's a shame. No wonder they've never done anything.
They stinks.
They got to the
Stinks.
where'd they get to?
Western Conference.
Western
Finals.
Conference finale.
And then were beat by the Thunder.
Yes.
Who
won
went
the-
on to become your NBA title holders.
You guys want to feel old? Is that your
Somebody-
final this day?
That's it.
You know where we were 10 years ago today?
Thunder.
I don't know.
Kenny, I don't think you were there. It was just the 4 of us.
I know.
We were at Target Field for
Yep.
the first ever Town Ball Classic. That was 10 years ago.
Oh, it was a hot Saturday.
I don't.
Remember that one.
I don't go to any town ball game where I can't pull my vehicle up on the third base line.
You are my guy.
Yeah. Sit on the hood and pound bush lights
And taunt the third baseman.
and just yell expletives all
Hey, bada,
night
bada, swing,
long.
bada, bada.
Hey, panty waist.
Right.
Roger
We want a
Caldwell.
picture,
You want me to say
not
hi to your
belly
mom?
injured.
Roger Caldwell committed suicide in 1988, Joe.
Okay.
And Marjorie, as nearest I can tell, is still alive. She received 3 years probation in 2009 because she had stolen some money from a guy she was supposed to be taking care of. So she got probation. And if she's alive, she's 84.
I don't understand your fascination with these old, nasty, drafty, Gilded Age mansions.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Filled with the basements are full of rats. And there's
Just like
bats
Summit
in the
Avenue. There's
belfry.
not a house on Summit Avenue I wouldn't love.
Huh. Not me.
Thank
I'd
you,
rather have
GLers, and have a wonderful 4th of July. Let's enjoy it
would you
this
rather
year
have?
while we still can.
I'd rather live in the Unabomber's cabin.
Oh, my God. Okay, Ted.
Please do us a favor. How about this? We finally eclipsed 16,000 subscribers on the Garage Logic
Nice.
YouTube channel. That's right. That happened yesterday.
Hey, speaking of that, thanks to all the GLers that have watched the Tom Bernard appearance on Krabby Coffee Shop this week.
Oh, fun.
Tom
I-
set a record for the Krabby, over 2,000 views.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
And you can see that video that Kenny was alluding to on the GL YouTube channel. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube, where you can watch the show live each and every single day. And you can also follow us along on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to sign up for the Daily Logician. That email comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Sign up right now at garagelogic.com.